Hello, my name is Barry, and this is my bed. Do you have chronic bed rot? Welcome! Even if you don't, come on in. We're back here to recap Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Life After Lockup, Season 1. We're on Episode 2. I watched it, so you don't have to. Just a reminder why I started this Life After Lockup series was because I started to realize that production did not like Gypsy. By Season 2, they full-on hated her. So I recapped that. You can go back and watch it if you'd like to. We are redoing my Season 1 videos. Let's just get started. Let's not waste any time, okay? We pick up where they left off in the first episode, where the Missouri parole officer is telling Gypsy that she needs to leave the state immediately. Well, Mike's handling that conversation, actually, because Gypsy's in the other room just crying her eyes out. They're gonna send me back! No, they won't. Listen to Mom. Chrissy's consoling her. Mike gets off the phone and goes to explain everything to Gypsy, and he's like, we're gonna get this sorted for you. We're all gonna get it sorted out, alright? Don't worry about nothing, little Gypsy. Alright, he didn't say that, but that's the vibe I get. Baby Gypsy's crying. Everybody take care of her. We see Gypsy sitting on the bed, and she's being interviewed by production, and she's telling us that she's a very responsible person, and that when she's given a directive, she's going to follow it. You know, what about how you strapped your baby into a car seat? That wasn't very responsible, was it? Show that shot of Gypsy in the mirror, you know, showing her in the mirror. She's just doing this. She goes and starts looking out the window. She's like peeking out. Phone rings. Ryan brings in the phone and Mike follows him. So I think Rod walked into the room too. So everybody's in the room. Gypsy turns the phone on speaker so everybody can hear what the parole officer is going to say. This time it's a woman on the phone, and she's calling, and she's like, I'm just trying to make sure you understand that you need to be going to Louisiana right now. And she's like, is that planned immediately? And the woman's like, yes, that's immediately. By tomorrow morning. She continues on. She's like, well, is the plan for you to leave tomorrow morning? She's like, okay, tomorrow morning. No, I'm asking you a question. That's a question. Are you leaving tomorrow morning? She's like, well, yes, if that's okay, because we've only had like 2 hours of sleep. She's like, all right, what time are you leaving tomorrow morning? And she's like, 12. She's like, PM? Yes. All right, I'll let them know that you're leaving at noon tomorrow. That's not the morning, Gypsy. You give her an inch and she takes a whole damn mile. So that's it. It's settled. Gypsy gets her way, kind of. She still gets her way. She's leaving tomorrow morning. She doesn't have to leave immediately. She ends the phone conversation saying that Missouri has the supervision of Gypsy until she leaves and she's in Louisiana, and anything that she does in Louisiana will be reported back to Missouri, and Missouri will have the final say, which makes me wonder if that's why she got away with so much shit during her parole. They're too lenient. I mean, they gave her a whole damn fancy plea deal. That's why she's out in the first place, is because Missouri. This is like the harshest punishment that Missouri gave her, was making her not have a chance to meet Taylor Swift at the Kansas City Chiefs game. She still feels like she's in prison. That's what they did to her. So this was a harsh punishment in her standard. Next, we see all the girls of the house standing in the doorway, and they're chatting. And off camera, it's the one woman from Season 2 that treats her like a baby. Oh, you got sweets? Look at you, Gypsy Rose. What'd y'all do last night? Why are you asking that? Come on. At the same time she asks that, Mia asks was the bed comfortable? Yes, the bed was comfortable. And we consummated the marriage. Why do they ask this? Like, why do they say stuff like, what are you guys gonna do? They got married in prison, and she's getting out. This is their first night together. What the think they're gonna do? Okay, you don't ask a bride and groom on their wedding night, what are y'all gonna do tonight? You know, make some s'mores? Disgusting. Stop asking them. Why are you talking to her about this? Is it just me? No, it's not. I know every single one of you will be like, this is gross and weird. Watch how Christy reacts to her stepdaughter having sex with her husband. Uncomfortable. I feel like even Mia is uncomfortable. She has this like strained smile on her face. Like, Watch this part again where you can see Christy like look to the side at the Season 2 lady. What's her name? Like, she was doing that for attention, to be funny. Someone to laugh at her. Like, look at me. I don't know. It was so weird. Or am I reading into it too much? Because I just don't like Christy. Gypsy gives a thumbs up. It was good. It's good. That's bragging rights, girl, right there. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Like, Brody. Mia asked Gypsy to come into the bedroom with her to talk about girl stuff, when I feel like she should have said grown-up stuff, because the way she talks to Gypsy is like she's a child and Mia's the grown-up. Grown-up stuff, Gypsy. We need to talk about grown-up stuff. Mia asked Gypsy if she's figured out birth control yet, and she says no. I mean, she's been out of prison. I think they said when it started, like 11 hours. She hasn't even slept 2 hours, Mia. When has she had time to go to a gynecologist and get birth control? Right. Anyway, I've started to turn on Mia a little bit. I'm sorry. Don't come for me. Anyway, she's like, no, we use condoms. She whispered that. Why did she whisper that? Because Gypsy's only using condoms. Mia's like, so do you want kids right now? She's like, no. I want kids, but I don't think right now would be very smart. I want to settle into my marriage. I know that my marriage is stable. But everything she said to Mia was a crock of shit, in my opinion, because we know from the emails that her relationship with Ryan was rocky at best. She was just using Ryan for a place to go when she got out of prison, because when she married Ryan, for whatever reason, at that time, she did not feel like she was welcome to going to the Blanchard home. So she needed to find a husband. Mia asked Gypsy if the surgeries and the medications that she took were possibly hinder her ability to have kids. And Gypsy says she hopes not. I'm like, you're going to nursing school, Mia. Wouldn't she be asking you this question? Like, why are you asking Gypsy this nonsense? She doesn't even know how to cook eggs. Gypsy says that she has regular periods and she had 2 regular pap smears while in prison. So she hopes that she can have kids. And Mia's like, well, maybe you should set up an appointment with somebody to see how many eggs you have, or even if that's capable. I'm not telling you to go out and have kids. This is not me telling you to have kids. I want you to prevent it. And she's like what you say whenever you're going to put your teenage daughter on birth control. Like, I don't want you to have sex, but I'm actually trying to prevent it. Mia comes off like she's the big sister, or like really the mom in this scenario, because this is how Christy Krusty should have been acting in this situation, instead of giving her high fives and calling it bragging rights because she wanted to show off in front of the cameras. Mia acknowledges that too, because Gypsy says, thank you. And she's like, well, somebody's got to talk to you about it. Now you got a sister you can talk to about this stuff. From what I hear, they aren't acting like sisters much these days. Since Thanksgiving, after they talk, production keeps Mia in the room and they interview her. And she's like, I'm hopeful, but I'm really worried for Gypsy in this world because she's like a new little born baby. Why do they treat her like a child? She's in her 30s. Mia says, I know she wants to do things to find her purpose in life, and I'll be there to help her figure it out. Well, Mia, your advice didn't work, babe. Gypsy just does whatever she wants to do anyway. And Mia called it, saying that Gypsy was trying to find her purpose in life. She wanted to have a kid. She was trying with Ryan. There was a ladybug in my hair, bro. This room is infested with ladybugs. I don't even sleep in here. I don't even get to sleep in my bed. Yeah, Gypsy wanted to have a baby as soon as she got out of prison, in my opinion. They show everybody in the dining room with the food and cake on the table, and they've got these confetti poppers. Rod and Gypsy, pow, bust them off, and all the confetti just falls right onto the food and the cake. Also, I noticed it was a plain white cake like Mia didn't want. What, you're just going to give her a plain white cake? Well, you gave her a plain white cake. She got her letters through the candles. The candles spelled out celebrate. So she got her letters on the cake. They all get pictures with Gypsy in front of the balloons that say, welcome home. Mia has to tell Rod to smile like you're happy. Gypsy goes, smile like you mean it. You not very pleased? Interessante. Everyone was kind of sitting in a circle opening presents for Christmas, and Gypsy's like, it's so weird being in front of an audience. You're a Leo. You love the attention. I'm sorry. You love everybody looking at you. She gets another pair of boots, and they don't fit. Girl, do you not know your size? In her defense, she can't zip up the boots. They're like long boots, and she can't zip them up her leg. And Ryan comes over to help her, and he's like, suck it in. She's like, you're going to get kicked. She's so violent. That was her response to a joke, was to joke back with violence. You were convicted of murder. I really don't think you can make violent jokes. That's out of you. That should be out of your vocabulary now. That's off limits for you. It's not considered funny from you. It's considered concerning. Like little voiceover of Gypsy, and she's talking about how the road ahead's gonna be tough. Hills, spirals, and U-turns. She needs to put on her seatbelt because it's gonna be a bumpy ride. And one of the examples she uses of her rough road ahead of people against her is because she was going to have all this family time, and now she doesn't get it. She's got to go back to Louisiana right now in the morning. And I want you to remember that. I want you to remember that Christy said they were going to get all this family time in Kansas City, and now it's cut short because she has to go back to Louisiana tomorrow morning, okay? Remember that. We see Gypsy open a pair of red bottoms from Ryan. She gets this necklace from Rod with like a sweet note on the box. And as she's like reading it, they do like this voiceover of Mia talking about how she's always been a daddy's girl for the last like 22 years or whatever, and Gypsy's never got that, and she's okay to share. I just want to note that the original story that Gypsy had was that Dee Dee kept Gypsy from family, kept Gypsy from Rod, even though now Rod is saying that he neglected her. Two different stories there. Gypsy reads the note from Rod, and you can see Christy in the what's-her-face from season 2 crying, wiping tears. Like, it was a sweet note, but God, it wasn't enough to make every woman in the room cry. It's not that heartfelt. Come back from a commercial break, and then they show some TikTok content creators videos talking about Gypsy and how she posted on Instagram her first selfie of freedom. At least she titled it appropriately on Instagram, because on the show she said it was her first selfie, which is a lie, but she's saying her first selfie of freedom. That is correct. Good job, Gypsy. Someone also talks about how TMZ released that she's being told she can't go to the Kansas City Chiefs game, and the PO in Missouri is telling her she needs to go to Louisiana immediately. I wonder who told TMZ that. Gypsy! We see Gypsy get interviewed by production. She says she loves spending time with her husband. She's had sex with him 2 nights. The last 2 nights. And production's like, wow, even with family around? And she's like, yeah, I just had to tell him, shut up. And then she goes downstairs, all right? So she goes downstairs and she starts saying bye to Rod, Christy, and Mia because they're leaving. Their flight's at 12:30. Did they, as soon as they found out that Gypsy had to go back to Louisiana, did they somehow get a flight with... When did they arrive? Can you get a flight that fast? I mean, maybe you can, but I think... In my opinion, this was planned. They already were planning on leaving this day at 12:30. But what about all this family time she was supposed to be spending in Kansas City? Huh? Sounds pretty suspicious to me. Then they show a clip of her grabbing all her stuff because her and Ryan are getting ready to leave. And they show a clip of a manila folder. And I think it has her prison ID number on it. Parole, that's what she said. It's going to be hard for her, I think. Her biggest fear is going back to prison for 1.5 years, which is a very specific time frame for her to say. So it makes me feel like if she violates her parole, it's an automatic 1.5 years back in prison. They pull out of the garage on their way to Louisiana, and it says on the screen, like a timestamp on the screen says it's 11 a.m. So good on you, Gypsy, for leaving an hour early. And they see 2 media people, like cars, waiting to follow them for the media or something like that. On the road, they call the parole officer and let him know that they are leaving, and she just licks her lips a lot. I mean, is it a habit, or does she still have excessive saliva issues? I wonder. They go to McDonald's and the paparazzi are following them, as Gypsy calls it. And the lady at the drive-thru in McDonald's asks if he can pull forward. God, that dang ladybug. Sorry, it was about to fly at me. And Ryan's like, actually, no. That guy up there is trying to get our picture and I don't want to give him a close-up. This is Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And she leans over and smiles. Hi. Second day out. It's something I just gotta get used to. She loves acting like she's a celebrity. And the lady's like, oh, I'm sorry. I hope you have a better day. And I wish she'd said, I wish you have the day you deserve. And pulling away from the McDonald's, Ryan's like, don't eat that in front of them. I guess so they won't get a picture of her eating. She waited like a millisecond until they passed that car and was like, shoved it in there. Gluttonous. No patience. Like have a voiceover, and then again, Gypsy calls it the paparazzi. She doesn't want the paparazzi to follow them to where they live. But she's like, I expected this whenever I got out, but not to this extent. And here's where the editing gets choppy. They show Gypsy, because when they were at McDonald's, her hair was up. She's getting ready to eat. Now we see her and her hair is down, not eating, no McDonald's. And she's talking about how pretty her necklace is with her sweater. And Ryan's like, well, I just wish my name was on it. And she's like, well, one day I'm going to have a necklace with, like, and he goes, our kids' names on it in like 14 days when we have kids. And then they start laughing because they're planning on having children. They're planning it. I bet he creamed her donut every time. Also, saying 14 days is an interesting timeline. It's very specific. When you get specific, I feel like there's a reason for that. And it makes me feel like once she had that conversation with Mia about can you even have kids, I feel like she got one of those ovulation tracker apps on her phone. And she knows that she can ovulate in 14 days. I don't know. In my opinion, that's my opinion. And I'm sticking to it. And then it cuts straight to her with her hair up in her ponytail, and she's chomping on some french fries and chicken nuggets. And she's like, guess who texted Christy yesterday morning? She's so happy about it too, by the way. Very pleased. And Ryan guessed RG or RT. Who's that? Anybody know who that is? It's like, no, KU. Ken Urker. They're using code names. Why can't they use regular? Why can't they just say the name? It's very childlike to me, very teenager. You know, me and my teenager friends, when we were teenagers, not 30 something, we had code names for boys we liked, like water bottle, Ichabod. Ryan makes a comment. He's like, "Of course, Christy told you," which makes me feel like this type of shit is not new. That Christy's injecting herself into their relationship. Gypsy says, "Well, Christy didn't single him out; just brought it up." Well, doesn't she have any respect for our marriage? Of course she does. I get why he says that, because he knew as soon as Ken was brought up, it's over, bro. In the show, they take a little trip down memory lane and we see pictures of Gypsy and Ken together. Voiceover of Gypsy talking about how her and Ken started dating in September 2017. They dated for 2 years, and right before they were going to get married, he ended the relationship. They were full on engaged. She also mentioned that Ken was her first long-term relationship. What about Dan Glidewell? About Nick Godejohn? Didn't you talk to Dan Glidewell for a couple years? I mean, he was only into you for the... He wanted your prescription. And then you talked to Nicholas Godejohn for like 2 years. Those are long-term relationships. Meanwhile, Gypsy's just sitting in the car chomping on those nuggets and fries still. And I'm sorry, I feel bad saying I get uncomfortable watching her eat. She can't help it. It's because of her high palate, and I think something with her tongue. Personally, in my opinion, I know the high palate is in her medical records, but there's something going on with the tongue movement whenever she's chewing and just licking her lips. I don't know all the details. Like Becca Scoops, Fancy Maselli, they both post a lot of the medical record stuff. So if you want information on that, I'd watch their videos. Really just a recap channel. But Gypsy needed a feeding tube. She spent a month in a hospital being evaluated by doctors and therapists because of how she ate. She struggled with chewing, and you can tell to this day she still chews weird. As soon as they leave Missouri, production has Gypsy and Ryan get out of the car to talk to them on the side of the highway. New state, new start. She doesn't ever want to come back. Thank God, good riddance, get the F out of Missouri. See ya later. Bye, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Missouri don't want you back. We don't want you. Go on, get. It takes 13 hours to drive from Missouri. Barely even wants to share her with her family. He doesn't seem to care that they've been waiting to see her. He's completely obsessed with her. And watching it back, I see it so much more now. I have a different view of Ryan watching it back this time as well. I was more sympathetic towards Ryan the first time. I'm not so much now. I still feel bad for him, don't get me wrong, but he's not doing the work. Like if you watch his lives or dig into his life currently, he's not doing the work to get better. He needs a therapist desperately. He thinks that Gypsy's going to come back. I really truly believe that. He thinks that the only reason Gypsy is not with him is because Ken is threatening to take Aurora custody if she were to leave. He's delusional. I think he has limerence. And then immediately we go into Gypsy showing us her lingerie, which did production ask her this? Who asked her? Who asked her to bring this stuff out? I think no one. I think she just wanted to show us her lingerie. The first piece she shows us is one that he bought when they first started dating because he had full confidence that they were going to work out perfect. So talking to someone who's in prison is first off questionable. And then you're buying her lingerie within what? A month of talking to her? And she has years before she gets out? Come on. Why are you sharing this information with the world, Gypsy? She has no shame whatsoever. Also, I want to take note that Gypsy's standing there showing us her lingerie. Behind her is a picture of Ryan and Gypsy when she's in prison, and he has bleach blonde hair. Like, I remember him saying this in a live that he used to bleach his hair, and I thought he meant like when he was a teen in the 2000s or something. But no, this is full on. She's in prison. He's bleaching his hair, and this was after Ken. Interesting. Ken has a light colored blondish hair. Yeah. She shows another one of her lingerie and she says that this was the one she wanted to wear when they first did it, but whenever the act actually came up, she was like, oh, let's do it. Just ripped it off. Bam. No lingerie. Then right after this, she talks about how she's self-conscious about her body because of all the scars. She's had so many unnecessary surgeries. Like, she didn't think that Ryan would even find her attractive. It was to a point where she was like, don't look at me. But I thought you just said you were like, whoop, 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 let's go. Within 30 seconds of the show. You can't even keep your story straight. Are you shy or are you promiscuous? Pick a damn lane, Gypsy. Gypsy says that she's kissed more girls than guys. She was worried that she wouldn't even have a sex drive. Maybe I don't like sex. Because there's a rule in prison against masturbation or something. She's like, so there's this risk of getting caught. And, sometimes I don't even want to do it for like 6 months. So she thought maybe she wasn't a sexual being, but she's learning things about herself. Like she's a freak. Freaky freak. I feel like Gypsy knew this about herself. This goes all the way back to pre-crime. Not just the prison emails. This is pre-crime. And Into the Weeds podcast is getting their FOIA requests soon of all the videos of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. So we're really going to learn how much of a freak you are. It's going down on to Pound Town. Next, we see Rod in the kitchen. Rod and Christy came to celebrate New Year's Eve, I guess. Gypsy goes straight for the champagne bottles. Like they're sparkling. She goes straight for those. Ooh, she's all about the alcohol. She cannot wait to drink. I think I'm going to like the sparkling rose. Bitch is sparkling rosé. Not everything's about you. Like, yeah, because that's you, my Gypsy Rose. Ryan's marinating some steaks. He says Gypsy's never had a steak before, so he wanted to get her a ribeye. You know why she hasn't had a steak before? She has trouble chewing. That's why. She probably almost choked as a child eating a steak and then never ate it again. Gypsy comes over to him at the fridge and says, it's been a while since I had a kiss. I had to see it and hear it, so did you. Because I genuinely got grossed out at the sounds they made there. Especially Ryan's little ooh at the end. Ryan and Rod go outside to grill the steak, and Krusty and Gypsy are inside at the counter, and Gypsy's like, can I tell you something that I've never told you before? Do you remember my wheelchair races? When you guys would come to my wheelchair races? Because, Rod neglected her and Dee Dee kept him from her. They were at the wheelchair races. Remember the wheelchair races? One of those wheelchair races you guys left, and Dee Dee told me that, Dad, you guys were making fun of me. Before she could even say what it was, Krusty's like this. Remember those wheelchair races? One time after you guys left, then Rod called me the R word.
That's how she saw you, and we didn't see you like that. Never.
Krusty says that's what Dee Dee thought of her, not them. Because Dee Dee can speak for herself now. That pisses me off that she said that. Gypsy understands that it's not true, she said. But over time of her mom saying this stuff over and over and over again, that opinions were made, she says. Meaning she started to believe it. And in my opinion, this was her grooming Christy and Rod. Like, grooming them to make them feel bad and guilty for neglecting her and because of what her mom did to her and leaving her with her mom. When really, we don't know if Dee Dee even said these things. Gypsy could be making this up. The food's ready, and Gypsy asked Christy to take a picture of her with the steak. And then Christy's like, "Oh, let me get a couple," and then takes like 100 pictures.
Aurora's gonna beg. She's looking straight at you.
When dinner's over, Gypsy decides to do an outfit change. She changes for the club. I think Gypsy was upset that she couldn't go out on New Year's to a bar or to a club to drink for New Year's Eve. So they decided to try and bring her that vibe. So Christy's helping her do her makeup, picking out her outfit and her shoes. Nothing! Not a damn thing. She had a baby. That's it. That's all she's given the world, is a baby. And an interview at San Francisco College. Oh, and an interview with Kim Kardashian. Christy is watching them dance and just crying, just wiping the tears away. It's so beautiful. Gypsy's like, you're a good dancer. I don't like anything Rod said. Like, taking everything her mom has thrown at her. Her mom was trying to figure out what was wrong with her. Her mom was trying to help her. She would be blind today if it wasn't for her mom. What were you doing, Rod? Not a damn thing. You were neglecting her, to your own words. I just don't like any of them. I really don't. I hate them all. And then there's a voiceover of Gypsy while they're dancing. Yes, because her and Pimp Juice are still dancing while everybody's watching them. Awkward ass moment. Can you imagine being production watching this? It'll be so weird. I'm getting chills. Like the gross chills. She said as a little girl, she didn't ever think that she would get to dance with her dad because she didn't think he'd be a part of her life. And meanwhile, he says, I didn't think I'd get to dance with her because I didn't think she'd be standing up. Confused because when she lived in Louisiana up till the age of 14, I'm pretty sure he was in her life. I've seen pictures of I've seen pictures of Rod with Gypsy, his other children, and Dee Dee, like all co-parenting. Who took the picture? Probably Christy. The dance ends. They end, and it looks like Rod kissed her on the lips. Am I imagining things? She's like, that was beautiful. Recap this episode, and who aren't in the Gypsy lore and aren't in the true crime stuff, they just recap shows like me and thought it was sweet. And I'm like, ooh, this is not a special moment. This is incestual. She changes out of her clubbing dress back into her comfy clothes so they can go outside and shoot off fireworks. Voiceover of Gypsy while they're doing the fireworks, and she's talking about how the person that she was arrested is gone. Like, she's a different person now. She's always going to have that stigma, but she wants to try and change that. Can you change a stigma? I don't know.
No one thing stays the same. People evolve. Creatures evolve. This is my evolution. This is my evolution.
I love how she used the word creature. It's the perfect word to describe her. Creature. Another thing I thought about was how Rod's walking around this whole time. He's constantly got a beer bottle and a koozie. And it's probably like 1 a.m. They're shooting off fireworks because it's New Year's Eve. Even with Christy as a DD, are they going to drive 3.5 hours in the middle of the night back to Cutoff? Probably not. They brought the dog. They're probably staying the night at Ryan and Gypsy's spare bedroom. You think they were bumping uglies at the same time?
Eat kiss with my hubby. It looks like in the background they have a little just married sign. They have a Ryan and Gypsy sign up there. And it seems like maybe this could be where they're living together. It is so sweet.
I wanted to show this part because I've said in season 2 when I filmed this that they only showed hate from online, comments online, videos online of content creators. But here they are showing a lot of nice stuff. Because this is part of the reason why I noticed the change in tune in production. They showed nice stuff at first about her journey. She got out of prison, but as it got to season 2, they didn't like her anymore. So you don't see that type of stuff anymore. It's just hate. We see Gypsy in the kitchen and she's telling production that Ryan can cook, Rod can cook, Christy can't cook. I love that little shade at Christy. Gypsy can't cook. She has learned how to make a Nor pasta side, which is just, it's got the instructions on the bag. So it's simple and easy for her, and she can do that. And since season 2, she's upgraded to eggs, but she still just eats those Nor pasta sides. And she still can't cook eggs, though. Says she doesn't want Ryan to feel like she's a dependent on him. Because her whole life, she was a dependent on her mother. Like, her mother did everything. She drove everywhere, cooked everything, cleaned everything. Gypsy, for 24 years of her life, just had to exist. That must have been so nice. I had to get a job when I was 16. If I wanted to spend money on anything, I had to get my own money. But I thought your life was so horrible. Everything was taking care of you for 24 years of your life. These bangs are killing me, bro. Why today? Why? Ryan comes back from the grocery store and he got all these things, these ingredients and snacks for Gypsy. You should see their counter. It's filled with snacks. Anyway, she wanted to make this rack drink from prison for him to try. It's instant coffee, soda, juice, and crushed up Jolly Ranchers for flavor. Yeah, it sounds disgusting. Served over ice. It's called the rack. She wants Ryan to try it. She said she would drink this every other day in prison, and it looks like blood. I bet she got off on drinking it. He comes in to put his arm around her while she's looking so they could both look at her phone. And she's like, "You're hovering." And he leans back like, "Okay." She's like, "Thank you." I bet you she just didn't want him to see any incoming messages she had. Ryan tells her that it's a lot of responsibility to have a dog. It's like, "I know. It's not like I'm going to have a 9 to 5 and then leaving the dog here. I'm going to be here home with the dog all day," which is interesting because at some point she does say that she wants a normal day-to-day 9 to 5 job. But it sounds like you never planned on having one because you wanted to get a puppy. He says in an apartment you have to take dogs for walks and clean up their poop and stuff. She's like, "I'm not an idiot. I know how to take care of a dog." He's like, "Baby, I never called you an idiot." But too late, Ryan. She already gets off, storms off, gets her cigarette, and runs out the door on the porch. He follows her outside. He's like, "I never called you an idiot, babe."
Well, you're treating me like one.
"No, I'm not."
That's the type of thing you say to a child. It's a lot of responsibility, you know.
And he stops the fight. She can get a dog. That's it. Immediately. She gets her way. He's like, "I think you're going to be great with the puppy." "Babe, I'm all in for it."
You know, I have had animals before.
"I know." But if he knew that she was shaving her cats, I don't think he would agree with her being alone with a puppy.
Don't treat me like a child, like I don't know what I'm doing. I'll feed the dog. I'll clean up after it.
She's like, "All right, baby." And that's it. She gets her way. She gets a puppy. She just had to storm off, stomp her feet. She got her way. She tells cameras that people think that just because she hasn't experienced something, then that attributes to being childlike. But to her, that's not it. Her mom treated her like a child because her mom wanted her to be a child. Don't talk to me like I'm stupid. It irritates me. Ryan says he doesn't want to be a controlling husband, but sometimes he says things that a normal husband would say, and he's told that he's a controlling husband and being controlling like her mom, and he's like, whoa, that's not it at all. That's not fair. He's like, for her, anything can be a trigger. And he's like, I mean, I have my own triggers. I have a trigger of being abandoned. That sucks, Ryan. That really sucks. But the outcome, we know that happens. That sucks. Gypsy says that they haven't really had any arguments, but the little tiffs that they've had, she's made it clear that she's upset. She doesn't want to be controlled, and she pushes back 10 times harder. Really says that. I'm not joking. Like, she says that if she feels like she's being controlled, she pushes back 10 times harder. She didn't do that back then with her mom when she should have so many times. So now she's got the confidence and she's like, bring it. Last scene of the show, she's just like sitting in a chair looking at her phone. He comes over and gets in her. He's like, my bad, baby. And she doesn't even look at him, doesn't say nothing, just ignores him. And then we got a voiceover of Ryan talking about how it's not always going to be easy. I love her unconditionally. I'm just happy to be along for the ride. No matter what me and Gypsy go through, we will always come together in the end. And that's how they end the episode, which is interesting because I feel like he still believes this. To this day, he still thinks Gypsy's going to come back. I really feel like he doesn't care how he's in her life, even if that means that he's only there for her when she's fighting with Ken. I feel like talking about Ryan at this point is like beating a dead horse while he's down, though. But I can't judge somebody for how they go through a divorce, I guess. Like, everybody's different. Everybody needs their time. I don't know, but he needs a therapist, like, fast. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Thank you for all the comments. I know sometimes it takes me a while to get to my comments, but I try. I do. I'm super bad about getting on my bury in bed TikTok. I apologize. I hope you got to enjoy your bed today, or if that's the one thing you had to do today was get out of bed, I'm glad you did it. Congratulations. At least you get out of bed today. I hope you have a magical day. Bye.